Welcome to Karma's Harvest. Today, we explore the story of a man who traded his humanity for the ultimate hoard, the literal weight of everything known to existence. In the quiet corners of an ancient library, there lived a man named Elias. Elias was not a simple scholar, he was a collector of secrets. While others sought gold or power, Elias hungered for the why and the how of every atom in the universe. To him, ignorance was not bliss, it was a personal insult. He spent his youth devouring scrolls and his middle age, chasing rumors of lost civilizations. Yet the more he learned, the more he realized the vast oceans of truth he would never touch. One evening, under the pale glow of a blood-red moon, Elias found himself at the threshold of a forgotten shrine. It was said that here one could bargain with the weaver of whispers. As Elias knelt, a voice like dry leaves skittering on stone filled the chamber. "What is it you seek, little spark?" the voice asked. "I want to know," Elias whispered, his eyes burning with a feverish intensity. "I want the Midas touch, but for the mind. Everything I look upon, everything I touch, I want its full history, its secrets, and its destiny to be mine instantly. I want the total sum of knowledge." The weaver chuckled, a sound of shifting tectonic plates. "Knowledge is not light, Elias. It has mass. It has gravity. Are you prepared to carry it?" "I have a mind like a fortress," Elias replied arrogantly. "Give me the weight of the world. I can bear it." And so the pact was sealed. When Elias stepped out of the shrine the next morning, the world was no longer a collection of shapes and colors. He looked at a simple oak tree, and instantly his mind was flooded. He knew the precise count of its leaves, the chemical composition of its sap, the memory of the bird that nested there 80 years ago, and the exact date the tree would fall in a storm 3 decades from now. It was exhilarating. He felt like a god. He walked into the village, and the floodgates opened wider. He brushed past a merchant and knew the man's childhood, fears, his hidden debts, and the exact number of coins in his pocket. He looked at a stone wall and felt the history of the quarry. It came from the sweat of the masons who built it and the slow erosion of the wind over centuries. But then something strange began to happen. By noon, Elias felt a dull ache at the base of his skull. It wasn't a headache, it was a sensation of pressure. Each new fact, each secret unearthed, felt like a grain of lead being poured into his brain. He tried to ignore it, fueled by his intoxicating power. He touched the ground, wanting to know the history of the earth beneath his feet. In an instant, billions of years of geological shifts, the deaths of prehistoric creatures, the movement of magma, and the weight of every footstep ever taken on that soil rushed into his consciousness. Elias gasped. His neck creaked. The information was no longer just thoughts, it was mass. It was as if his brain was physically expanding, becoming denser than gold. He tried to look up at the sky, but his chin was pulled toward his chest. "Too much," he wheezed, but he couldn't stop. His eyes were still open, and every blade of grass. He forced more data into his overloaded mind. Each blade of grass brought with it the knowledge of its photosynthesis, its cellular biology, its lineage. He stumbled toward his home, his back arching under an invisible burden. By the time he reached his doorstep, he was crawling. His head felt like a leaden sphere, a mountain balanced on a toothpick. He realized then what the weaver meant. Ideas, memories, and facts, when gathered in their totality, carry the physical gravity of the universe they describe. He collapsed in his study, surrounded by the books he once loved. He tried to call for help, but his neck muscles had reached their limit. His head hit the wooden floor with a thud that shook the room. He was pinned. He knew the atomic weight of the floorboards, the history of the forest they were cut from, and the name of the carpenters first. Love, but he could not lift his head an inch. Elias lay there, a prisoner of his own greed. He possessed the greatest treasure in existence, total understanding. He knew the secrets of the stars and the language of the deep sea. But he would never see the stars again. He would never look into a friend's eyes or watch a sunset. He was a man with the mind of a universe, trapped in a body that could no longer support the weight of the truth. In the end, Elias realized that wisdom is not the accumulation of everything, but the grace to let go of what we do not need. As the shadows lengthened in his silent room, the most brilliant man who ever lived remained frozen, his forehead pressed against the earth, crushed by the very thing he thought would set him free.